And then in terms of the organizational behavior, we have these various anchors. And so this is the things that that organizational behavior really is a big part of organizational behavior, and a really strong influence of organizational behavior, and kind of how we go and do things. So first off, we have the systematic research anchor. And so this is researchers such as myself who study organizations and what are the things that influence behavior inside of organization. And we use a lot of research methods. Right? And so believe it or not, so you have academic types like myself who go out and study this, but a lot of organizations, they study their own things, their own processes. Organizational behavior is an academic title. You will probably not find a job title that says, organizational behavior specialist, but you might see something like OD consultant, organizational development consultant, or organizational development specialist, or human resource manager, or just consultant. All right, leadership development, training and development specialist, and things like this. So there's all sorts of jobs in this area, and a lot of what these people do, particularly at the higher level of this work, is they study the organization and try to figure out the things that are working and the things that are not working. And so we do a lot of research in this field to try to understand what is driving behavior. And it is applied research. So there are people who try to build theories, but mostly we're trying to understand how these theories that is applied in this other field impacts the workplace. Or just the broader question of, is this theory useful in the workplace? And so we try to take the things that work, because it is an applied field, practical orientation. So we try to take the things that work and then build new theories and new approaches based off the things that we can demonstrate as being effective. It is multidisciplinary, and I've touched on this already. We bring in knowledge from other disciplines. So one of the things that I had been researching recently is this approach to learning, how it applies to employee selection. And so there's a field where they look at what are the various things that influences whether or not people learn stuff. And then I'm looking at it, applying it to employee selection as to whether or not we are asking good questions and selecting employees, and what might be interfering in the process. So we do a lot of that. We take things from other areas, and we, if it looks useful, if it looks like it might be, and we might be able to apply it. We will borrow from other disciplines and other research areas. Then we have the contingency anchor or factor. And so, and this is where the field of literary criticism has come in. And so, like literary criticism, one of the things that they sort of decided is that in order to really understand the message or the meaning of a particular piece of literature, you need to understand the context and time under which it was written. And that if you are trying to understand, say, the works of Shakespeare in today's society, you won't really understand everything that's going on in Shakespeare, because at the time it was written, it's very different than now. So what this basically is saying is that, research conducted in the 1970s doesn't necessarily apply now, because the situation has changed. And what might be effective in one organization doesn't necessarily work in a different organization because it's a different context. And so context is basically situation. So in other words, we need to understand the situation, and that is something that has been largely ignored in the field for a while, because we sort of were analyzing things independent of the situation. But now we've realized that we can't separate individuals from the environment in which that they're operating. So we need to also not only understand the things that are influencing the individual, but we need to understand from an internal perspective. So knowledge and personality and all that stuff. We not only need to know that, but we also need to know about the influence of the environment, like the business environment, and what are the policies and things in there that may be either interacting with or canceling out the stuff in the individual. And then finally, we have the multiple levels of analysis. And so there's 3 different levels of analysis that I've already kind of touched on, but I didn't introduce it as such. So we have the individual level, the micro level, where we're looking at personality and job satisfaction and all that stuff. And then we start getting more macro. So we move up. So the next level of analysis is groups/teams. All right. So, and then the highest level is going to be the organizational level. And so we can try to understand organizational behavior, the behavior of our employees from those 3 different levels. So what are the individual characteristics that might be influencing somebody's behavior? What are the group characteristics that might be impacting their behavior, and what are the organizational level things that are impacting their behavior?